Sensei Raz here of Tiger Dojo. Hope you're all well and your training is going good, whatever your discipline is. Question I get asked quite a lot is, can gaining a black belt have an effect on a person's ego? Answer to the question is, it depends on the person largely, but yes, it can. Now, when you gain a black belt, with most people, it won't affect their egos. You'll still remain the humble person you was when you walked in the dojo. You won't feel better than everyone else because you've gained a black belt, and you'll treat all your students with humility, and you won't give them anything to do on the mat what you're not prepared to do yourself as well. That's my take on it. Always be humble. But unfortunately, there are some people that when they get the black belt, it can mushroom their egos to a point where it will cause problems within your dojo, with the other students and the students' families and parents, that sort of thing. I've seen this happen first time. Now, at Tiger Dojo, if somebody walks into our place with an ego and walking around like they've got two carpets under their arms, the only thing they're going to be shown in that dojo is the door and the way home, because we have no place for those sorts of people in our dojo. We don't want egos. We want everybody to get along. We want a nice positive training atmosphere and everybody just to be training hard, and we want to get the best out of all our students, and the most important thing is treat them as equals. Now, back in the day, myself, James and Tim were part of another club. Now, that other club had a very good sensei and he was a very good teacher. He taught us very well, and we still use a lot of what he taught us today, and we've developed our own style of teaching as well. So we took the good points from his dojo, but unfortunately towards the end of his dojo, before it folded, he lost a lot of interest, and in a way he took his eye off the ball. And basically what happened is there were two males that passed their black belts around 3 months after me. Now, the reason why they passed their black belts 3 months after me is they dropped off on their training. Now, they should have been doing theirs the same time as me, but they dropped off the training. They weren't training up for the training sessions and putting the hours in, so we didn't see them for a few months, and then they came back and started training again just after I'd passed my black belt. So they did theirs, I think it was either 3 or 6 months after mine, and passed theirs. Anyway, because they'd started training at the actual dojo about 6 months before I did, once they passed the black belts, the chief instructor gave them a lot more responsibility. He was allowing them to take classes, and that was a bad move, because basically once these two got the black belts, their egos mushroomed, and what happened is they just thought they were better than everybody else, and their attitude was, there's a hierarchy at this dojo and we are it, and whether you're another student, another black belt, we are better than you and we are the hierarchy. And it was like everybody else at that dojo, be it students or the black belts, just became bit part players in their show, and they had a very, very arrogant attitude and walked around like they were superior to everybody else, and they ended up upsetting a lot of people. They upset students by the way they spoke to them and humiliated them, and this in turn ended up upsetting the students' parents and causing a lot of trouble there as well. And the chief sensei there having to diffuse the situation at one point. They also had a falling out with me. This was because I believe they had an issue with me. They thought they should have took their black belt before me, but to be fair, they didn't put the training hours in. I did, and it was that simple. I was more committed to the training, and my training, I wanted it. I thought I've come that far, so I want this black belt, so I'm prepared to put extra training in, and that's what I did. You know, maybe that was why they were having a problem with me. Anyway, eventually they realised, when they started to realise that it wasn't all about them and they'd upset a few people, they decided to go off and form their own dojo. They didn't even ask like the chief sensei about it, who'd done them quite a lot of favours in the past. They just went off and did it, which caused a bit of animosity. But in a way, it was a blessing in disguise, because they went and the atmosphere at our dojo became better again, and it was a lot more better on the mat. They went off and did their own thing, and you know, they had produced a nice slick promotional video. They had a bit of money behind them, a bit of backing, so it was all good for them. But eventually their dojo folded, because I believe that because the both of them had egos, their personalities clashed with one another in the end, and one of them left and went off to do university, and the other one just had a lot of problems, and the dojo ended up like folding. Moral of the story is just because you become a black belt, it doesn't make you better than everybody else. It doesn't make you the all-knowing martial artist. You don't know it all. The journey's just begun. You don't know everything, you know, and you should just be humble, and everybody in that dojo is the same as you and equal. So be humble, treat everybody in your dojo as an equal, and to me then you won't go wrong.